गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरंजन यमुनातीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada ki jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Hare Krishna. We are very fortunate that one of the senior devotees in ISKCON, His Grace Kamal Lochan Prabhu, has graced our temple. He is by birth a Madhva Brahman, born in Mysore, and later, he did his marine engineering in Calcutta, and since the 90s he has been preaching and practicing Krishna consciousness. He is known for his wonderful classes and leadership. Currently he takes Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Vaibhav classes, and also at least around 5 temples which I am aware he is bringing up in outer Bombay area, Vapi, Valsad, all those places. And is also the president of ISKCON Mira Road and guides me personally in many of the preaching activities that I do. So we are very, very happy that he has come, and also he is the dear disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So very fortunate to have him today. So let us warmly welcome him to our temple and to hear from him about Srimad Bhagavatam by loudly chanting Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, text no, Chapter 8, text number 8. Asit Yad Udarat Padmam Loka Samsthana lakshanam yavan ayam vai purushaha yatta avayavaihi prithak tavan aso iti proktaha samstha avayavan iva asidyatudarat padmam asidyatudarat padmam loka samsthana lakshanam loka samsthana lakshanam yavanayam vai purushaha yavanayam vai purusha yattavayavai prataka tavanasaviti proktaha tavanasaviti proktaha samstavayavan iva samsta avayavan iva Adi udaratmatmam Oga sanstana lakshanam Avanayam vai purusha Tavanasami prokta samsta avayavavan iva asidyatudarat padmam loka sanstana lakshanam yavanayam vai purusha kritak Tavanasaviti proktaha samsavayavaniva asidyatudarat pratmam sthana lakshanam Sayavaniva. Matajis. Asidyatudarat padmam loka sanstana lakshanam Diprokta Stavayavaniva Asidyatudarat padmam Loka sanstana lakshanam Yavanam vai purusha vai prutak Tavanasaviti proktaha samstavayavaniva. Word to word meaning asit, as it grew, yad udarat, from whose abdomen, padmam, lotus flower, loka, world, samsthana, situation, lakshanam, possessed of, yavan, as it were, I am, this, why, certainly, Purushaha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yatha, measurement, Avayavaihi, by embodiments, Prithak, different, Tavan, so, Asau, that, Iti Proktaha, it is so said, Samstha, situation, Avayavavan, embodiment, Iva, like. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities? Purport. One should note how Maharaj Parikshit intelligently put questions before his spiritual master for scientific understanding of the transcendental body of the Lord. It has been described in many places before that the Lord assumed a gigantic body like that of Karanodaksha Vishnu, from whose hair pores innumerable universes are generated. The body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu is described as sprouting the lotus stem, within which all the planets of the universe remain. And at the top of the stem is the lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born. In the creation of the material world, the Supreme Lord undoubtedly assumes a gigantic body, and living entities also get bodies, big or small, according to necessity. For example, an elephant gets a gigantic body according to its needs, and so also an ant gets a body according to its needs. Similarly, if the personality of God assumes a gigantic body to accommodate the universe or the planets of a particular universe, there is no difference in principle of assuming and accepting a particular type of body in terms of necessity. The living being and the Lord cannot be distinguished simply by the difference in the magnitude of the body. So the answer depends on the specific significance of the body of the Lord as distinguished from the body of the common living being. Om Jnanvirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utabada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Paritana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakaanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'm very grateful to devotees of Radha Gopinath temple, and especially Baldev Prabhu for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of all of you. Many years back, I had come here, and it's long time since I have association of these nice devotees. I still remember when I joined in 97 at Mira Road. Actually, I had come here to join. Somehow Bhakti Rasana Maharaj, at that time Divamrit Prabhu, told me, I'm going to be in Mira Road only, come there. So it happened that I went there to serve him there, and I stayed back in the temple there. And also today evening we're going to celebrate the glorification of His Holiness Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, my spiritual master. And I'm very happy that I'm back here after many years. I used to come practically every 15 days, 3-4 days I used to spend in this temple, but at that time it was not so opulent like this. But sweetness was more there at that time, because Maharaj used to stay here. Like he was like brahmachari ashram, he used to stay like a brahmachari only, along with us. And he used to give brahmachari classes in very relishable days with Shankaranand Prabhu, my friend. Now, getting into this topic today, Parikshit Maharaj has just heard the Brahma Narada Samvad. The second canto, 5th, 6th and 7th, 3 chapters, it talks about Brahma Narada Samvad. We know in our Guru Parampara, Krishna speaks to Brahma, Brahma speaks to Narada, Narada gives the knowledge to Vyasa. So in the second canto, 9th chapter, 4 verses, 33, 34, 35, 36, known as Chatushloki Bhagavatam, are the 4 verses spoken by Krishna to Brahma. That is known as Krishna Brahma Samvad. Now, Brahma, after receiving this knowledge, he speaks to Narada, and that conversation between Brahma and Narada is described in the second canto, 5th, 6th and 7th chapters, 3 chapters. Then going further, Narada, after hearing from Brahma, because Brahma told Narada, Vipuli Kuru, you distribute, Sankalpaya, these are the words which he used. He says, Narada, I am not just giving you, Brahma said, Narada, I am not just giving knowledge free of cost. You have to pay for it. What is that payment? You have to spread it. That's all. So everybody receives any spiritual knowledge. Along with that, there is a tag. That is, you have to spread it. Sankalpa varnaya sarvatman yakiladhare iti sankalpya varnaya. You take sankalpa. Until unless you take sankalpa to spread spiritual knowledge, that knowledge what you get will not be digested. Like for example, you eat a nice feast. No problem, you can eat as much as possible, but provided you can digest it. The main thing is not eating, the main thing is digesting. So, the moment you get transcendental knowledge, spiritual knowledge, along with that, the instruction which automatically we get, or responsibility what we get automatically by default, is that Vipuli Kuru, you have to spread that knowledge. Yata haror bhagavati nanam bhaktir bhavishyati. And how you have to spread this knowledge? Brahma tells Narada, hey Narada, yata haror bhagavati nanam bhaktir bhavishyati. You have to present that knowledge in such a way that bhaktir bhavishyati nanam, in the hearts of the people whom you are spreading this knowledge to, bhakti should manifest. So it is not just you speak Bhagavatam or you speak something, but the purpose for which you speak Bhagavatam is that bhakti should arise in the heart of the devotees. Like you have many professional Bhagavat Kathakars, but their sankalpa is not that people whom they are hearing, who are hearing from them, their heart should be filled with bhakti. That is not their sankalpa. Sankalpa means I take a vow that I want to do with a purpose. The purpose is also defined in the sankalpa. Sankalpa is not just mean that I'll do, that's all. No, it is sankalpa means I do it for the purpose. Like we have our Yagya Pujari here. I am doing this. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? Bhagavad Prityartham, Guru Ragyaya. So these are the sankalpas which we take, that I want to do this thing for this particular purpose. So what is the purpose of speaking Bhagavatam? The purpose of speaking Bhagavatam should be Bhaktir Bhavishyati, Nrinam Haro Bhaktir Bhavishyati. Sarvatmanya. Who is that Hari? Sarvatmana. Who is there in everybody's heart, that Akila Dhare. Now somebody may ask, if Krishna is already in the heart of everyone, why I have to go and preach? Why I have to establish Krishna in everybody's heart? So yes, Krishna is there in everybody's heart as Paramatma, but this Paramatma is Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. He is just watching. You are suffering? Suffer. He is just watching and looking at us. You want to enjoy? You want to forget me? Forget. That is what Paramatma is. He is Udasina Vattishtati. He is Udasina. He is not bothered about you. But when you speak Harikatha with a purpose of filling people's heart with Krishna consciousness. So when a speaker or a preacher is preaching, the most important thing is not what you speak, with what purpose you are speaking. What sankalpa is very important. The sankalpa is to manifest bhakti in the heart of people. You may speak practically anything. It may be, you may be very confused about what you are speaking, but still bhakti manifests in the heart of the person. Though you may be a very eloquent speaker, you are very knowledgeable, you are a great pandita, but if the sankalpa is not that people should get bhakti, then even though you may be very great speaker, eloquent, nothing will happen. So sankalpa is very important. I always used to wonder, anybody who comes in contact with our movement, just 6 months, maybe just reading Prabhupada books and maybe hearing few classes, somehow he can influence people to become Krishna conscious. Where is the power coming from? Because he has a great desire, intense desire, that people should become Krishna conscious. That intense desire to make a person Krishna conscious, that desire is actually preaching. It is not how much we know, what is our expertise. All these things are secondary. So that is why Brahma, he tells Narada that Sarvatman Kiladhare iti sankalpya varnaya. Now you describe it. How, when you should take the sankalpa? From today itself. From today itself, you should take a sankalpa. I will describe Bhagavatam in such a way that devotion arises in the heart of the devotees. Now, immediately Brahma tells Narada, you see, Narada, that you may be thinking that why I have spoken practically 2.5 chapters, especially 1.5 chapter, at least the 6th chapter, where the Lord's universal form has been described. 7th chapter talks about different forms of Krishna, different pastimes of Krishna. Krishna's pastimes with the Chit Shakti, Krishna's pastimes with the Antaranga Shakti, Krishna's pastimes with the spiritual energy, where Krishna says that I appear in this world, Atmamayaya. That means the appearance of Rama, Krishna, Narasimha, Vamana. These are all pastimes of Krishna which he does with the internal potency. Now, creation of this world, that is also pastime of Krishna. Creation of the world is also pastime of Krishna. It is not that the Lord creates, it is Srishti Leela. It is also Leela. And this Leela, you may think that why this Srishti Leela has been described in the Bhagavatam at many places. Because not only we, Narada would also get such a doubt. Because the moment you talk about Mahat Tattva, Kala, especially in the 3rd canto, you will find so many verses talking about dimensions of time, different levels of time and space. Many verses talking about how the creation happens, how Mahat Tattva from Pradhana, Mahat Tattva comes, from there Ahankara comes, Ahankara in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, and how from goodness the mind appears, the devatas appear, and from the passion all the intelligence and as well as the senses, working senses, they all appear, and from ignorance how the Panch Mahabhutas appear. There's a huge technology. The Vedic physics has been described so much. I gave up one kind of physics and I can land up studying this kind of thing. What is this? Doubt may come. Because in the 6th chapter of this canto, especially starting right from the 5th chapter itself, Krishna, Brahma describes about the Lord, Avayavaihi. This words comes. In this verse there is one word, Avayavaihi. Avayavas means limbs. Avayava, the hands, legs and all. These are the limbs. And this whole world is nothing but the limbs of Krishna. Limbs of the universal form of Krishna. And also interestingly, the universal form of Krishna has been described multiple times in the Bhagavatam in 2 different ways. One is the material universal form. The other one is the spiritual universal form. Very interesting point to be noted. The spiritual universal form, I am making the terminology simple. The spiritual universal form is nothing but these 3 forms. That is Karanodaksh Vishnu, Garbhodaksh Vishnu, and Kshirodaksh Vishnu. And there is a material universal form which is temporary, but from the whole world has been manifest from the temporary material form of the Lord, which was shown by Krishna to Arjuna. Srila Prabhupada clearly says it is material form of the Lord. Whereas Karanodaksh Vishnu, Garbhodaksh Vishnu, and Kshirodaksh Vishnu, they are 3 are spiritual universal form. So whenever you hear this word universal form, don't get confused. Some places there will be a description. Sometimes simultaneously both are described, especially in the next chapter, in the 9th chapter, in the 10th chapter of the 2nd canto. Even in the first 2 chapters also, the spiritual universal form and the material universal form, they are described so simultaneously we get confused about it. So now, why is it so that these universal forms are described like this? Actually, the description of universal forms starts in the 1st canto, 3rd chapter itself. In the 1st canto, 3rd chapter, the first 5 verses, they talk about the universal form. Karanodaksh Vishnu, Garbhodaksh Vishnu, Kshirodaksh Vishnu. Jagrihe, Paurusham, Rupam, Mahadadibihi. So there is a connection between the spiritual universal form and the material world. That is the 3 Vishnus. Vishnus to 3 Rupani, we know this verse very well. One who knows the 3 forms of Vishnu, then he becomes liberated from this world. There is a beautiful verse, it talks about it. But after describing all the forms of Krishna, starting from Narada, Kumaras, and goes on counting, 22 forms are described in the 1st canto, 3rd chapter. And after that, he says, yes, there is another universal form, which is the material universal form of the Lord, which is Sadasad Rupam. And the Sadasad Rupam, like material form, has got gross and subtle. So in the same way, the material universal form of the Lord also has gross and subtle. So now Brahma is very sure that Narada must be thinking why I spoke about this material form, universal form, and spiritual universal form, when ultimately we are supposed to develop attraction for Krishna. Why talk about this world? Why make us remember Maya? Why talk about Maya? So then, very interesting verse, which is the last verse of the previous chapter, which becomes the basis for the questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj in this particular chapter. So, what is that verse? Mayam varnayato mushyaha ishwarasya anumoditaha shrudvataha shraddhaya nityam mayatmana muhyati. So, very interesting that we all know diamond cuts diamond. Poison removes poison, isn't it? Diamond cuts diamond, poison removes poison. A thorn removes thorn. So if you are walking in the jungle, if some thorn gets stuck to your feet, then what do? You search for another thorn. You don't hate the thorn because the thorn has stuck you. To remove the thorn, you have to find a thorn. So now we are all stuck with the thorn of Maya. So now how do you remove that Maya? Thorn removes thorn, so Maya removes Maya. So okay, Maya, how can Maya remove Maya? Yes, poison removes poison. So if your body is afflicted with poison, put another poison, the poison goes away. If you have to cut diamond, you have to bring another diamond. How is it possible Maya can remove Maya? It is, the Prakriti is teaching us. Prakriti teaches us. The Maya is teaching us, Maya can be removed by Maya. How is it so? What is the speciality of that Maya which is removing the Maya which we have? The speciality is Ishwarasya Anumoditaha. So now here, very interestingly, this verse, the 53rd verse of the 7th chapter, that has to be it's the basis. Practically all the confusions regarding the question or the doubt which may arise in our mind, why the whole Bhagavatam, which is meant for Ashraya Tattva, which is supposed to describe about Krishna Prema, which Prema Varshi Aksharayate, which Sanatana Goswami says that every Akshara, every alphabet in Bhagavatam is nothing but a Prema Varsha. It's a cloud which is going to drown the entire world, inundate the entire world with Krishna Prema. If that is the case, why so many verses in the Bhagavatam talks about Maya, talks about Mahat Tattva, etc. So the answer is here. Maya varnayato mushya ishwarasya atmama ishwarasya anumoditaha. Ishwarasya anumoditaha. When Krishna speaks about Maya, or when you hear about Maya as spoken by, as anumoditaha, as established by Krishna, as been blessed by Krishna, shrinvataha, when you hear, how shraddhaya, means with great faith, how nityam, when nityam, then Maya atmana muhyati, you will not be bewildered by Maya. So now we understand, is it that I just have to read this thing? Yes. Yeah, as long as the thorn is stuck, you require another thorn. So once you remove the thorn, then what do? You throw both the thorns. Isn't it? So as long as our consciousness is Maya is afflicting our consciousness. We have attraction for things in this world. We have attraction for the objects of this world, people of this world. We have attraction for the subtle sense enjoyments like appreciation and etc. etc. That as long as our mind is not completely attracted to the beautiful form of Krishna, till then we have to hear this thing. We require the thorn. It's very painful. If the thorn is stuck in your foot, it is paining. But more paining is to take another thorn and remove the thorn. While the thorn is being removed, you feel more pain, isn't it? Sometimes people say, Roji, I was happy before. Misery was there, but now it is I'm most miserable. Yes, it is true, isn't it? When a thorn is stuck in your feet, you have pain, but it is tolerable. But when somebody takes another thorn and tries to remove this thorn, it becomes more, isn't it? So definitely it is painful to study these sections of the Bhagavatam which talk about the description of this world. When you're talking about the descriptions of this world, definitely it is painful. I left all my studies so that I can just jump and dance and be happy, and you are hammering with these verses, with these sections of Bhagavatam, studying all these things. And why? What is this? It is because Maya Atmana Muhyati, you will not be bewildered by Maya. If you study the descriptions of Maya as explained by Krishna in the Bhagavatam, as explained by the devotees of Krishna in the Bhagavatam, and it should be heard Shrinvataha Shraddhaya Nityam. Otherwise, after hearing the beautiful pastimes of Krishna in different forms, why at all Parikshit Maharaj would come and ask this question? Rather, not one question, many questions. So many questions were asked by Parikshit Maharaj in the entire chapter. One entire chapter for only questions. And not about the pastimes of Krishna, it is about pastimes of Krishna with Maya. So now, after talking about the glory of hearing about Krishna, where Parikshit Maharaj says that Shrunvataha Shraddhaya Nittam Granatascha Sachestam Kalena Nati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hradihi. Now Parikshit says, Sukadeva Goswami, Bhagavan Vishate Hradihi. Krishna himself, he enters our heart. and then sits there. Aste, he becomes ahuta ivame shigram. He comes as if he is invited and then sits at the place where Harikatha is going on. He sits in our heart. He is actually our hidi avarudhyate atta kritimhi shushrushu vitakshanat. He comes immediately. Here also the word is being used as the word which is used here is the Lord Vishate Hridihi Kalena Nati Dirgena. In the same chapter, the fourth verse talks about it. Kalena Nati Dirgena. That means very soon, immediately, Takshanat Hridi Avarudyate Atra Kritivihi Shushrushu Takshanat. The subject matter in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, the power of Bhagavatam has been described in the first canto, first chapter itself, where it says that Dharma Projita Kaitabotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Mastam Trastu Shivadam Tapatra Yonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamanikrate Kimma Parishwara Sadyor Hidi Avarudhyate Atra Kritibhi Shushru Shubhi Takshanat Hridi Avarudhyate. Krishna, he comes and gets bound in the heart of the devotee who hears Bhagavatam with yet humility. So what is the speciality? Why Krishna does that? Because he is captivated, he is intoxicated. When you speak Bhagavatam, when you hear Bhagavatam, Krishna becomes so intoxicated that he comes himself and makes the heart of a devotee who is hearing Bhagavatam, the heart of the devotee becomes a jail for the Lord, the karagara. Then he gets into the heart by himself. Have you ever found any chore, any thief who comes by himself to the police station and say, I enter the jail, and he locks up the jail and gives the chabi to the police? No. So Krishna is such a chore. So as soon as you hear Bhagavatam, immediately comes Hridi Avaradhyate Yatra Kativihi Shushrushuvi Takshanat. Parikshit Maharaj says the same thing, same bhava experience expresses here. And then he says, he speaks, he asks questions. The questions of Parikshit Maharaj starts from the previous verse, that is the 7th verse onwards. What is the question asked by Parikshit Maharaj in the 7th verse? Yad adhuta mato brahman deharambho syad dhatubihi yadrichya hetuna va bhavanto janante yatha. So now Parikshit Maharaj's question, the first question asked by Parikshit Maharaj, which was discussed in the previous class, in yesterday's class, was, I want to know, how did this jiva, this living entity, who is having no body, means no material body, how did he get this material body? Yada adhatu mato brahman, adhatu. The body of the jiva is adhatu. Adhatu means he doesn't have any dhatus, he doesn't have any physical or the material or the coverings on him. Brahman, deharambo syad dhatubihi. Deharamba, when did this start? How did this start? How did this material entanglement start? It is a very natural question which comes to all of us, especially when you are frustrated, isn't it? Why at all we came here, isn't it? Why at all we came here? It's too late. You ask this question. It is too late, isn't it? Why? Like somebody is caught up in the jail. Why at all I came in the jail? So you're too late. You should have asked this question before you entered the jail, before you committed the crime. So now don't ask this question anymore. You think of how to get out of the jail now. Don't sitting in lamenting now is not going to work. You have to work to get out of the jail. So in this way, you just cannot say that, oh, why did I come, why did I come? You have to know how to get out of the jail. Think of getting out of the jail now. So now that was the first question asked. Now another question arises. Why is it so that I have to ask such questions about this material world? What is the reason? Of course, Brahma has told to Narada that Ishwarasya anumoditaha shrunvataha shraddhaya nityam maya atmana muhyati. I'll go beyond maya. But still, I still want to know, I want to know further reason why I had to inquire. Or for example, if somebody has been liberated, maya atmana muhyati, he is not bewildered maya, still will he inquire about material world? Krishna's pastimes with Maya? The answer is yes. Yes. Still a devotee who has gone beyond Maya, still that person also, that devotee also wants to inquire about Krishna's pastimes with Maya. What is the reason for it? What is the reason for it? If you love someone, you love every activity of that person, isn't it? If you love Krishna, you love Krishna's pastime with the Gopas are also Krishna's pastimes with this world because you love that person. Isn't it? This reason. So, the subject matter is love. Subject matter is bhakti. So, anything which actually nourishes bhakti, that also becomes bhakti. So, here for those who, you are intelligent brahmacharis here, so for this is the main point to establish this, allegation which people put on the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So what is the allegation? The allegation is that third chapter, what is the name of the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Karma Yoga. But Srila Prabhupada in the purport he says, a devotee in Krishna consciousness. Now sixth chapter talks about what? Dhyana Yoga. So he has to talk about yogi. Where Srila Prabhupada what he says? A devotee in Krishna consciousness. So everywhere it is devotee in Krishna consciousness, everywhere it is bhakti. How is it that you are trying to manipulate Bhagavad Gita and make everything bhakti? The chapter is karma, then you want to talk about karma. If your top chapter is talking about jnana, then you want to talk about jnana. If your chapter is talking about yoga, then you should talk about yoga. Why are you talking everywhere bhakti? That is why you are all sentimental people. So there is a big allegation by the scholars on Srila Prabhupada's purport. So I don't know how many of you have seen, even for many years, I was also haunted by this question. So fortunately, I found one book written by Shivaram Maharaj at that time. I don't know how many of you have seen this yellow color book, hardbound book, called Bhakti Vedanta Purports. So that resolved many of the confusions which I had. Because if you go, even if you study any of those acharyas, previous acharyas' commentaries also, they really explain this is yoga and this is karma, this is this thing. But Srila Prabhupada he exactly brings everything and concludes bhakti. That is why his name is Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Because he concludes the end of Vedas is bhakti. So he describes. For him everything is bhakti. You give him a newspaper also, you give a headline in the newspaper, he concludes bhakti out of it. What to speak of Vedanta? Anything. The Bhakti Vedanta purports. So that is what is described here. Even Parikshit Maharaj, he is asking about Krishna's pastimes with Maya because hearing the Krishna's pastimes with Maya will lead to bhakti. If you don't discuss about that, Bhakti Devi will be upset. Like, this is the temple, but you have nothing to do with anything else. But to come to the temple, you require to inquire from people how to go to the temple, isn't it? The road which leads to the temple, that is also very important, isn't it? Otherwise, how will you go to the temple? So, certain things which lead to bhakti, especially Krishna's pastimes with Maya, lead to sadhana bhakti as well as prema also. What is the reason behind it? Because you know how great is your Lord. So by glorifying the power of Krishna, the vibhuti of Krishna, then what happens? Our heart becomes very soft, very namra. Like somebody is very rich. How he walks? Nobody is like me. I am so rich. He comes. But as soon as he comes to this temple, then he sees some Ambani or so, somebody. Then he sees, they become like a cat, isn't it? He becomes humble. The moment you see somebody is more superior to you, naturally become very humble, isn't it? So all the ahankara you have becomes completely destroyed by hearing how great is the Lord, how wonderful is the Lord. And that is the reason to know the greatness of the Lord's vibhutis have to be described. Now I am bringing this word vibhuti. Vibhuti means simple, the energy of Krishna. The material energy of Krishna is vibhuti. The spiritual energy of Krishna is known as avesha, technically. These are the names which are used. Avesha means a spiritual aspect, energy of the Lord, which is manifest in a particular geo for a particular purpose. The Vibhuti, these are all Vibhutis. 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita talks about it's Vibhuti Yoga. Why Krishna has to talk about 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter? Because that talks about the Vibhutis of Krishna. Keshu Keshu cha bhaveshu. In what bhava I can see Krishna in this world. When I'm in the temple, I'm seeing you, the divine form. The problem is not there. When I'm in the temple, I'm chanting, I'm hearing, seeing your form. The problem comes once I go to the temple. Then I see big billboard and a big motorbike, somebody standing next to that. Oh, buy this car. And all these things, they hit my consciousness, they impact my consciousness, and I forget Krishna. So how to remember Krishna outside the temple? How to remember Krishna when I am dealing with matter? When I go to my office, when I go to home, when I go to some relatives, their marriage function, and all these things you have to go there. So when you go there, how to be Krishna conscious in that situation? That's a very important subject. See, when you are in the temple, it is by default you become Krishna conscious, isn't it? Even if you get angry on someone, you say, Hare Krishna Prabhu, isn't it? But by default you become Krishna conscious. But how to be Krishna conscious when you are outside the temple? Very simple. For that it is required training. What is the training? That whatever you see in this world, it is nothing but the energy of Krishna. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman. So these 4 Mahavakyas, which the Mayavadis they use for their purpose, actually it is Vaishnava Vakyas, it is not Mahavakyas. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman, Satyam Jnanantam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. These are actually Vaishnava Vakyas. They are misinterpreted. And Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman, everything is God. That is the very blatant translation, very gross translation of it. Actually, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman means everything belongs to God. Everything is energy of Krishna. So whatever you see in this world, it is all energy of Krishna. So now, knowing how Krishna deals with the energy, that is a very important subject matter. Rather, the only subject matter of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So today's verse, coming to today's verse, becomes the basis of Krishna or the mention or the description of the Chatushloki in the Bhagavatam is because Parikshit Maharaj asked this question, today's question. If Parikshit Maharaj would have not asked this question to Sukadeva Goswami, the Chatushloki would have not manifest in the Bhagavatam. So just imagine the importance of this particular question. So the connection, how this verse is a cause for the manifestation of the Chatushloki in the Bhagavatam is a subject matter of research. But I'll give you only some hint. No, Asid yad udarat padmam. Now, Asid yad udarat padmam is just referring to the previous descriptions. Now, you already described about the Supreme Lord, that is Karanodaksha Vishnu, Asid, he is lying down on the ocean, on the Garbhasagara, and Udarat, from his Udara, Udarat means from Udarat, from his stomach on the navel, Padmam, there is a big lotus flower which came, then Loka Sansthan Lakshanam, and it is become the abode of all the lokas. And what are these lokas? These lokas are nothing but Yavan Ayam Vai Purusha Itha Avayavaihi Pratak. So these lokas, these different planetary systems in the planets are nothing but Avayavaihi. Itta means all these. Even in the Indian language also this word comes. All these things. Ittaha avayavaihi pritaka. So whatever lokas you flying, you see the stars, the moon, everything. When you're looking at the sun, moon, etc., and all the planetary systems which are visible and invisible to our eyes, all these are nothing but the limbs of Krishna. Nothing but the limbs of Krishna. So now, just coming from Visakhapatnam, Baldev Prabhu told me to come there because IIYC, ISKCON India Youth convention, strategic planning meet was there. Many devotees were there. So they asked me to speak on a particular subject. I was totally confused what to speak because I just sat on the class and then tried to analyze the subject. So then I thought, let me speak on the subject only, but in connection with Srila Prabhupada, visit to Visakhapatnam. So there are many pastimes, many conversations which Prabhupada had. So Srila Prabhupada was in Visakhapatnam for a few days, and he was with 15 of his devotees, with 15 of his disciples. So one day, Srila Prabhupada asked, every day he used to go for the sea bath. So they were staying just 5 minutes walk from the beach. So many disciples of Prabhupada went to take bath. One disciple, he asked Srila Prabhupada, he was sitting there and Prabhupada asked him, why I have not gone for bath? Then what he told, Prabhupada, swimming, sea, this is all Maya. Just imagine, whom is he telling? What is Maya, what is not Maya? Then Prabhupada told, where is Maya? No, the swimming and all is Maya. Then Srila Prabhupada told, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to swim every day. Then when you go for swimming, where are you swimming? In the water. And what is this water? Raso Amapsa Kaunteya. Prabhupada is reminding him. You remember this 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that I am the taste in water. So Krishna is the taste in water. How can you forget Krishna? How can you forget Krishna? So the whole world, everything in this world reminds you of Krishna. Everything in this world reminds you of Krishna. So just have to get the qualification. What is qualification? When you study the scriptures, when you are contemplating the scriptures, you get that specs, you get that spectacles by which you can see Krishna everywhere. Then Prabhupada said, when you look at the sun, what is sun? It is one of the eyes of Krishna. Ekchakshure Savita Sakalagrahanam Raja, the king of all the planets. Yes, Yagyaya, on the order of Krishna. The sun is going around. Kala Chakraha, this Kala Chakra has been driven by Surya. So how is it that you can forget Krishna? So if you want to be Krishna conscious, you can be Krishna conscious everywhere. If you don't want to be Krishna conscious, you may be in the temple also, you may not become Krishna conscious. So Krishna conscious is a very interesting subject matter. You can be Krishna conscious everywhere, provided we have those spectacles. We have that Jnana Chakshusha, Pashyanti, Jnana Chakshusha, Vimudha, Nanu Pashyanti. Vimudha, what is a fool, he cannot see. Whereas somebody who is having Jnana Chakshu, he can see. That is why the study of scriptures is very important. Now let us go further and then finish the subject for today, the verse discussion. Tavan asau iti proktaha. Now, before I get into the point, I'll try to explain some very interesting point. See, similar doesn't mean same. Similar doesn't mean same. Like when in South India, it's a culture when you see a small 5, 6 year, 7-year-old girl dressed very nicely on a festival day, then the elders would look at her, very nicely decorated, and say, Sakshat Lakshmi. Sakshat Lakshmi. What does it mean? She is Lakshmi or what? No. By looking at you, Aksha means by looking at you, Sa, that Lakshmi, I can remember. I remember Lakshmi by looking at you. Like Sakshat Haritvena. Means what? Sakshat means it is not you are Hari, rather by looking at you, you are representative of Hari. We think of Hari, you are actually a representative of Hari. So that is the meaning of the word Sakshat. So the word similar doesn't mean same. Now the question asked by Parikshit Maharaj is, the Lord also takes different forms. The living entity also takes different form. So then what is the difference? Then what is the difference? That is the question. What's the point? The Lord also takes different forms. maybe Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, whatever maybe, or maybe the universal gigantic form he takes. Okay, just because he has got big form, how does that big form is different from mine? I have also a form, he has big form, what is mine? I am also rich, he is super rich, what is the difference? What is the difference? Just because you have something more, that doesn't make you something different from me. Isn't it? So that is where the Mayavadis take exam. They actually the living entity and the Supreme Lord are one. Because of the creation, there is a distinction. The Maya creates a distinction between the Lord and the living entity. The body of the Lord, which is made up of Maya, is big, and the body of the living entity is small, which is made up of Maya. So both bodies are made up of Maya. So in this way, you have to worship the Lord because He is big. So their concept of the Lord having form and living entity of the form, they see that both forms are made up of Maya. One form of the Lord which is made up of Maya, that is big, and this is small. So conclude this point by saying that how these Mayavadis, they bring up this theory that Brahman, when it is affected by Maya, the avidya potency of Maya, it becomes fragmented and takes the form of the living entity. And this Brahman, when it is affected by Maya with this vidya potency, incomplete, that becomes Ishvara. So in this way, both are the product of Maya. The Mayavadis are called Mayavadis because they say Ishvara is a product of Maya. Ishvara being a product of Maya and living entity is also a product of Maya, one big, one small. So what is the big thing in that? What is the difference? So for that, the fourth verse of the next chapter answers this question. How does Lord answer? He says, I will show my form. Until unless I show my form, transcendental form, until unless the living entities realize my transcendental form, they would not be able to understand. That is why the Lord appears in this world. Even the Garbhastuti, all the devatas, they say, oh Lord, you appear because to show your transcendental form. The Lord appears in the form of deity. Why he has to appear in this form? To actually eradicate this ignorance in the mind of the people, which Parikshit Maharaj is putting it as a question, that is, Lord is great, I am also great. Lord is great, I am not so great. But we both belong to the same category. He is also Maya, I am also Maya. Big Maya, small Maya, that's all. Isn't it? Like you describe, Maya was glorified. He is so Vibhu, he is great, and his glorification of the Lord. So the Mayavadi's glorification of the Lord is like a young boy glorifying a girl, saying that you are so beautiful, nobody is like you are like that, you are like this, oh wonderful. So she's so happy to hear, very elated. And at the end he says, I want to tell you sum and substance of your beauty. Please listen. And he tells that young girl who is expecting something wonderful, she wants to hear, he says, I am telling you, you are more beautiful than a buffalo. Did he say anything wrong? So, glorifying the Lord is like that. They glorify. They don't say anything wrong. But at the same time, it's horribly wrong. Why? Because of comparison. She becomes very upset. He would say, I told something right only. You are more beautiful than a buffalo, isn't it? So just because you are more beautiful than a buffalo, that doesn't make that statement a glorification because you made a wrong comparison. Wrong comparison. So in the same way here, the Lord manifests to show that don't compare your beauty with me, your size with me, and then say I am great. So your glorification by comparing with you is actually not a glorification but an insult. So that is why the Chatushloki was spoken. So today's verse and the Chatushloki has got a lot of connections that you can do further research out of it. Okay, stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So stop here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.